Learn in the game, right? You don't have to cut everybody off. You just gotta know where you stand in life. You gotta know where you stand in their life and what category you should put them in. How much trust you should put in this person. How much money should you trust with this person? How much time and energy should you give to this person? What's going on, YouTube? It's Just, and I'm just keeping it real with you on this channel, man. Today we're gonna get straight into the vid, man. There's no reason for, all the extra stuff in the beginning, because I want y'all to learn the game for real and learn the value of the game and just thrive in life. The whole point of this is to strive, transform, achieve, and rise. For me, we don't want anybody slacking. We don't want anybody, not maximizing their potential and reaching their goals. Get into today's video, right? A lot of you guys are, on the rise, on the come up, on your journey to success or whatnot, right? And on your journey, there's a key factor that you have to learn, and that's relationships, right? Believe it or not, relationships are going to carry you to success, right? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, I'm self-made. I never needed nobody. I never needed this. I never needed that. That's wrong. Everything you have is just a product of somebody else's creation. So you do need people. There's easier and faster ways to get to success depending on, what people you're dealing with and how many people you're dealing with. Or you could take the harder route and do it yourself and try your best not to involve anybody. And it's not saying that you won't be successful, but you might not get there as quick as somebody who, necessarily creates a team of people that could help them get to success. Now with these relationships, you could probably be like, yo, Just, what kind of relationships are you talking about? Are you talking about sexual relationships? Are you talking about relationships with friends? I'm talking about relationships in general, meaning all of them. Every relationship, any interaction you have, any connection, any partnership, any any type of interaction you have with someone, another human being or whatnot, and there's some type of connection, you guys stay in contact, or you guys keep, conversing with each other, that's when the relationship starts to form or whatnot, right? So those are the relationships I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about just specifically sexual relationships. I'm not just talking about business relationships. I'm not talking about, with your co-workers, and I'm talking about all of them. For me, not just one specific type. I'm talking about all relationships. It's like, now that I'm talking about all relationships, what does relationships have to do with the title of the vid, right? Important, right? Very simple too. If you want to know where you stand in someone's life, there's a couple things you can do, right? You know that relationships are important, and you know that they will help you get to where you need to be. So it's a good thing to know in the back of your mind, all right, where do I stand in this person's life? Who can I trust? Who can I not trust? What category can I put people in? At the end of the day, we're all human, right? There's going to be people that's going to always keep it real with you, and there's going to be people that sometimes keep it real with you. And unfortunately, there's other people that never keep it real with you. They just straight up lie. You want to be able to distinguish as to who you could trust with this and who you could trust with that. You get what I'm saying? If you guys are getting what I'm saying, keep watching, man, because I'm going to go into more depth as to what I'm talking about. And if you don't, keep watching, because, I'm going to go into more depth, right? A simple, easy way to test where you are in somebody's life is to test them. Very simple, very easy, right? Now, here's the thing. You're probably like, why don't I just ask them? Why don't I just communicate like a regular human being? Why don't I just ask them, hey, what's your intentions? Or, those questions that you guys ask all the time. What's your intentions? How do you feel about me? What's this way? Tell me this about myself. You gotta understand, everybody is going to give you a filtered truth. When people are telling the story, right, there's always somebody who says there's three sides to the story, and they're right. There's one party's side, the other party's side, and then there's the full truth, right? No matter how much truth you think is coming out of somebody's mouth, it is filtered and it is biased based off of their perspective and their quality of life, right? So you have to understand that. It doesn't mean that what people say is not true. It just means that it's filtered truth. Meaning you have to take what's true out of their statement, and know what is a fact and what is, what's not a fact, right? Because everything is based off of perspective, right? Perspective, mentality runs the world. And if you guys want to hear a video on what I have to say about how mentality runs the world, just comment down below mentality, because I actually want to make a video on that so you guys can understand the basis behind how this world runs, right? Who wins, who loses, and that's all based off up here, right? But just to get back on track, right? Relationships is gonna, either bring you down, they could bring you up, or they could keep you where you're at, right? Let's just keep it into 3 subdivisions, right? So now that you know that they could bring you down, keep you there, or elevate your lifestyle, whatnot, you have to know where you could put people in these categories through the test, right? One of my favorite tests is no contact test. Now I'm gonna go into a specific type of relationship that I'm talking about, where it's a sexual relationship or romantic relationship, right? An example I could use is actually, and it's crazy time that I'm making this video right around the same time is, right? So I'm dealing with this girl, whatnot, she's checking off all the boxes for me, or whatnot, she's actually, doing good, and this is something I had to learn, and I'm still in the process of learning, for real, that you don't have to cut every girl off or whatnot, right? You have to know, though, in the game, that you have to be able to put them in categories. You get what I'm saying? Let's say you're the filter and you get to decide who goes in which bucket. You know what I mean? You're the filter, you're management, it's your system, it's your life, right? You get to decide who you get to deal with, who you don't want to deal with. But the ones that you do want to deal with, or the ones that may be flawed in character, right? Which is basically everybody on earth. You have to know, all right, what category am I going to put them into? So back to the test, right? My favorite one is no contact, because what no contact does, it shows you basically where their priorities are at. You know what I mean? I have nothing wrong with a girl who's, you feel me, ambitious, hustling, like how I am, you know what I mean, and prioritizes, God, her family, and her goals first. But you gotta understand, right? You being the king you are, right? You valuing yourself as much as you do. If you don't come right after that, my brother, I don't think this is a girl that you should put in one of your highest categories. You understand what I'm saying? Depending on, what red flags and green flags she has, you can either put her in a category where, you're dealing with her and you have y'all fun or whatever for y'all time, or you can put her in an even lower category to the point where it's like, all right, I see you when I see you, I might hit you up for business or whatever, whatnot, but, I keep you at an arm's reach distance, you know what I mean? So there's no contact, right? I'm dealing with this girl, everything went well, I'm just, we kicking there, whatnot, we talking, we connecting, we vibing, and chemistry is flowing. So one of these days, I conducted the test twice, right? I should have learned the first time on the first test what it was, but the second time was just for confirmation, right? So after us talking back to back days, I believe it was 2 or 3 days, we were talking back to back days, like all day in constant communication or whatnot, FaceTime, text, whatever, cool, right? The 3rd or 4th day, I decided, let me not hit her up first. Let me see what she does if I don't hit her up first, right? Let me, or at least wait to hit her up. That's what I did. I said I was gonna, the first test I remember I conducted, I said I was going to wait till the end of the day to hit her up, right? So the whole day goes by, right? No notifications from her at all, right? Not even on social media, no anything, no notifications. So then I text her at the end of the day, like, try to act like nothing happened. I said, yo, what's up? Like, like regular conversation like we was having the other days. She tells me, your timing is interesting. So I ask her to elaborate on that, what she means. She basically, long story short, she tells me how, she didn't appreciate how I waited till the whole end of the day to hit her up, right? Mind you guys, it is my job as a man, and I will always acknowledge the other side. It's my job as a man to pursue and to, basically just to pursue. So me being a man, right, and it's my job to pursue, there's a thin line between pursuing and chasing. So after I told this girl, after she told me what she told me, how she felt, whatever, how I, how I didn't hit her up all day, whatever, I said, well, you understand the phone works both ways. She didn't know I was conducting a test at the time, so I didn't spill anything to her yet. I just let her know, like, the basics, like, what people always say, the phone works both ways, right? I can see you didn't contact me all this time either, and then, we just went the whole day without speaking to each other. Cool. Then she was like, oh, yeah, I was just matching your energy and whatnot. Guys, don't fall for that. Do not fall for that, right? And this is why I should have took my test results from the first test and honestly just ran with it, because sometimes I be giving people the benefit of the doubt depending on how much value they bring to my life. But with this girl, right, obviously it was a little something different than usual, so I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I was like, okay, well, let's make sure we're on the same page from now. Yeah, we will match each other's energy. Yeah, we will continue. It is my job to continue to pursue. It is your job to continue to make it easy for me. You get what I'm saying? But I told her specifically, I said, one thing I will not do is chase you. I will never chase you. She asked me, what do I mean by that? I gave her my definition of not chasing or whatnot, but she knew what I meant by that. So this is when I should have realized, all right, this is when I should realize, okay, maybe the scale of, attraction is not the same on both ends, right? So more time goes by, right? A couple days go by, we're talking even more, we're getting stronger connection now. Chemistry's even getting even better now, right? And then I'm like, I remember my test results from the first day, right? All this time, I still have been hitting her up first. Been texting her first, been calling her first. And it's not like the conversations haven't been good, but I realized I always been reaching out first. So here comes into play my no contact test, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, I know she's cool or whatnot. You feel me? I mess with her vibe or whatever. She clearly, has a good head on her shoulders. So I was jacking her. This is when I was like, okay, I need to know before I even either express that I'm jacking her, or before I even let her get more access and let her get more energy and time out of me, I gotta know where I stand in her life. So the no contact test came into play. Fellas, I was not waiting this time to hit her up. I literally decided I'm not gonna text her and I'm not going to call her. Chat, we haven't been in contact for about, I think it's going on like 2-3 days now. I haven't heard from her since. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure she thinks I'm playing some game or she thinks I'm playing a game with her. But regardless, I know where I stand now. And you're probably like, okay, a bunch of other things could have happened. Right. But that's how you gotta understand human nature, right? You gotta understand, right? Even when you're dealing with a girl or whatnot, or dealing with anybody, the most busiest people on the planet, you will be surprised. They still have time to reach out and they still have time to respond to when people reach out to them. Do you know why that is? Even though they're more busy than you, that's because of their priorities, right? They know who to give their time to, who give their time and energy to. If you didn't watch the video I made earlier about not giving, a f about everything and wasting your time and energy, you understand the essence of time and energy and how important it is in life. Now you're getting to the part where you understand how important relationships are, and you have to know where you stand in someone's life. Sometimes you may not, you know what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you're in a relationship where you're in business and it really doesn't matter where you stand in somebody's life as long as they get the business done. But you want better business, you want better relationships, you should know where you stand in somebody's life as to how you treat them and how they treat you. So I basically used my story as an example, right? You don't want to get caught up chasing. You don't want to get caught up at overly pursuing. That's when it gets to chasing. There's nothing wrong with you as a young man or an older man, middle-aged man, whatever type of man you are, or females, if you're watching this too. You don't want to get caught up chasing. Not with anyone. You don't want to get caught chasing. And I'm going to make another video too on how you don't want to chase anything in life. And that goes for money, that goes for women, that goes for power, that goes for everything. You don't want to chase, right? You want to learn the art of attraction. You want to learn how to attract stuff. And in order to do that, you have to be that guy that's worthy of that bag. You have to be that guy that's worthy of that healthy relationship. You got to be that guy that's worthy of that car, that house, those kids, everything. You feel what I'm saying? So in order to be and attract, you have to, have discernment. Discernment is another big word on this channel because it's important to know what to give your time and energy to. I'm telling you, you're only gonna lose chasing things that aren't supposed to be chased. Only thing I advise you to chase, guys, is God. Whoever that is to you, if that's Allah, Buddha, Jesus Christ, whoever it is to you, that's the only person I advise you chase, because that is the only thing that I truly believe, right? In my opinion, that when you chase, right, you only get a better quality life in return, right? But you got to understand what we're dealing with. I mean, we're talking about relationships here. We're talking about humans, and we're talking about flawed sinners. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about people who will lie to you to protect you. We're talking about people who will lie to you to just to throw you off your game or whatnot. Whatever reason, humans are flawed. So you don't want to be chasing anything like worldly. You don't want to be chasing any humans. You only want to be chasing that divine power you believe in, right? You're probably looking for, another way. Just how can I test them to see where I am in their life? Another way to test somebody to see where you are in their life is to ask them to do something. Yo, this is one of my favorite things, right? And I know I keep talking a lot about romantic relationships or whatnot, but this is where I practice my test on people the most, in my romantic relationships, right? In romantic relationships, the perfect time, to test somebody is early. So you don't get caught up later on when you already invested that time and energy and made that commitment. And now you lost. You feel what I'm saying? But you're like, okay, cool. How do I test them this way? How do I ask them for something? It's real simple. You ask them for the simplest thing, depending on who it is, right? Let's say it's a girl I'm dealing with. I'm gonna tell her, hey, by the way, I need to send something to your house. I need you to, I don't need you to open up the package though. I just want to send something to your house, you feel what I'm saying? Because whatever, there's shipping problems with it, can't send to my house. I just need to send something to the house. And I tell them, I wouldn't put you in danger though. I just need you to trust me on this one, all right? If they're giving you a hard time, giving you problems, you know what I mean? Like literally, and I'm not talking about like not asking questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions, because it's like, you just asking somebody to send something to your house. You don't know what it could be, so it's normal to ask questions. If they ask questions, that's fine, right? But like questions, just trying to inquire so they could feel more comfortable, as for you sending a package to their house. Boom, right? Literally, if the girl is trying to give you the hardest time possible and give you mad excuses or just straight up tell you no, you should know right then and there you are not anywhere in her top 5 priorities. And I mean, you're far from it. Because believe it or not, guys, whatever girl you're dealing with, if she really likes you, you'll know for real, because she'll prioritize you, right? She'll start putting you before the other stuff in her life, and you'll see it in her day-to-day actions and what she does for you. You know what I mean? Girls have a simple way kind of showing the love. I know everybody likes to tell this is my love language, this is this and that, but it's real simple. Will she do this for you or not? Like, just ask her for a simple task. Or you could just ask her, another thing, can you spot me $25? You know what I mean? I didn't get paid today or whatever. There was some problems with my pay. Can you spot me $25 so I could go get some lunch? She try to give you a hard problem about $25. Get out of there. Get out of there quick. Get out of there quick. Because you gotta understand, this is a woman you're dealing with, right? And you're trying to see and test out whether or not she'll last for the long term, a good amount of time, or short term. You know what I mean? And any girl that's giving you a hard problem like that, you should probably keep her for the short term. I'm not saying you should entirely cut them off, because remember, go back to what I said earlier. It's a strategy that I'm learning in a game, that you do not have to cut everybody off. You could simply put them into categories as to, all right, this is what I could deal with them with for, and this is what I could, trust them with. You don't want to be giving out your full trust to somebody who's in a lower category. You got to be able to know, like, all right, cool, this girl's bringing all this value to my life, so I could trust her with this and this and that. But this other girl that I'm dealing with, yeah, she's not necessarily, bringing any type of value to my life. So it doesn't mean I necessarily have to cut her off. I could just deal with her, from a distance, or I could just decide, all right, I don't want to deal with her entirely. In some cases, it is important to have a strong cutoff game, because sometimes they're gonna try to play you, man. They're gonna try to play you. It's kind of their job too, to test us too as men, to test how strong we are. But you gotta know whether or not, all right, cool, after I put her in check, how does she act? You know what I mean? Does she start having the same qualities and traits as the lower division of the category that I put her in after I checked her? Or does she, continue to rise, and she continues to get better and to listen and to grow with you, and just being her feminine nature, whatnot, whatever you guys value, whatnot. I just gave you guys 3 different ways that you could know where you stand in somebody's life. 1, you could literally test them with no contact. Try not reaching out first. You'll see, this is with your friends, this is with your family, this is with anybody. Try not reaching out first and see how the tables turn. See how everything changes, y'all. I put that test on so many people. I think I lost a lot of relationships from it. I know I lost a lot of relationships from it, because I was realizing that, if I never texted you, if I never hit you up, if I never called you, if I never said, let's meet up here, we would have never even spoke. You feel what I'm saying? If they're not reciprocating the energy or bringing more, you can't put them in a higher pedestal. You can't put them on the top shelf. You can't put them on that category. You get what I'm saying? You got to put them on a lower category, maybe mid shelf, maybe lower shelf, depending on what they do, what value they bring to your life. Because understand something, right? Yes, relationships are important. Yes, your goals are important. Yes, your purpose is important. All that energy and time that you put, why would you start, giving it out to relationships that's going to bring all those other things down? Because let me tell you something, guys. If you don't have the right relationship, or you don't have the relationship that's going to better you, it's only going to bring you down. You get what I'm saying? So you got to know who you're dealing with, who you're giving too much time to, who you're giving too much energy to. Back when I was in high school, right? There was different categories of people who I gave my time to. I always had my core circle, but not the guys who, always elevate with me together. We always come up together. But yeah, I also had other friends that, wasn't really on shit for real, And it's not necessarily like, y'all, I'm not cool with y'all not my friend, I'm looking down on y'all. No, they just didn't wake up yet. So you put them in a category. You like, cool, I give you this much time with me, because if I give you too much time and too much access to me, you're gonna be a detriment to the success and the things I got going on now. So I gotta give you, a little bit of distance. I gotta give you a little bit of time, get it together. If you don't get it together, that's cool. Later on, maybe down the line, this is when you start considering to cut them off. But learn in the game, right? You don't have to cut everybody off. You just got to know where you stand in life, in their life. You got to know where you stand in their life and what category you should put them in. How much trust you should put in this person. How much money should you trust with this person? How much time and energy should you give to this person? You know what I mean? Because these are all things important to you, and it's important that you give. It's in the Bible. You're supposed to give. So, if I give my time out, I give my energy out, and I give my money out, I got to give it to people that actually deserve it, right? And the only way for me to know if they deserve it or not is I need to know where I stand in their life. Simple as that. So the 3 ways that you could know where you stand in somebody's life is 1, the no contact test. Try not hitting up your best friend. Just try not hitting up your best friend for 24 hours. See if any red flags raise up. See if they seem a little bit concerned. See if they checking on you instead. If you're the one constantly reaching out and giving away and giving, see what happens when you don't. Watch how people act. You'll see. And this video may change some of your relationships, but you have to be ready for that, because you either want to deal with it while it's early, or you want to deal with it when you're successful and bigger problems arise because of that, right? So the first one, no contact test, right? The second one, the asking for a favor test. Ask them, be like, I need to send a package to you, or I need you to pick up some fruits for me from the store. They give you a hardest time for some simple time. You should be like, you just brush it off. You be like, okay, cool. You understand, right? And the last test is asking for money. Literally, a lot of people value their money. A lot of people want to hold on to their money. A lot of people don't want to give their money away. This is something they work for or not work for. Whatever they do, people don't like just throwing money out in the air. Not everybody. There's some people out there that just like to waste money, but majority of people do not like to just give their money out to anybody. So no contact test, right? The asking for a favor and asking for money. Those are the 3 ways you'll know where you stand in somebody's life. And it's important that you probably want to conduct one of these 3 tests early in your initial interactions, because you don't want to wait till it's too late, like I said, and then it becomes a way bigger problem. That would be worse for you because you didn't peep the signs earlier before. So if you got something from this video, man, and you enjoyed this video and this was formative to you, please just share it to your friends, share it to somebody that needs to hear it. Like, comment, subscribe, do what y'all gotta do, man. Y'all been showing love, man. Keep blasting these videos, man. And as usual, man, stars up and stars out.